As days passed, Nagmahashaya began to feel that there was no chance of his attaining to spiritual perfection so long as he considered work for the support of his family as his main concern in life. So he made up his mind to hand over his dispatching work to his friend Ranjit and devoted his whole attention to meditation. One day he took the opportunity of broaching the matter to Mrs. Pal brothers. Mrs. Pal asked him how he would maintain himself in that case. Nagmahashaya replied gently, "What Ranjit would kindly give me in charity, with that I shall try somehow to make both ends meet." Mrs. Pals understood that it was impossible for Nagmahashaya any more to do anything for the family. So they thought that they must provide some means for the upkeep of the family that was so long maintained by them. They sent for Ranjit, and having settled with him that half of the profit of his business must be given to Nagmahashaya as his share, gave him the charge of the dispatching work. Ranjit knew Nagmahashaya's temperament. He would never give him all his dues lest he should spend away the whole money. After meeting Nagmahashaya's messing expenses, Ranjit used to send the balance to Deen Dayal by post. When Sri Ramakrishna came to know about this arrangement, he exclaimed, as if in joy, "That's all right, that's all right." Freed from all anxieties, Nagmahashaya now plunged into more austere religious practices and became a more constant visitor to Sri Ramakrishna. Hitherto he did not go to him on Sundays or holidays, as men of light and learning, whom he thought he was unworthy to talk to, would be visiting the master on those days. But now that he was a frequent visitor, he became acquainted with some of those people. One night, Girish Chandra Ghosh, accompanied by two of his friends, went to Dakshineshwar, and upon entering Sri Ramakrishna's room, saw a man sitting in one corner with folded palms, in great humility and devotion. He looked shabby and emaciated, but his eyes were bright and powerful. Sri Ramakrishna introduced him to Girish, and since that auspicious moment, Nagmahashaya and Girish were fast friends. Nagmahashaya very often went out for a walk on the banks of the Ganges. One day he met a bright-looking young man. Nagmahashaya took him at once for a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and having questioned him on that point, found out that he was not wrong in his guess. He was Swami Turiyananda, then known as Harinath. While speaking of his austere practice of brahmacharya, Nagmahashaya used to remark, "But for this, how could he become a fit receptacle for the Master's grace?" From about this time, Nagmahashaya gave up completely the using of shirts and shoes, but he always used to keep his body covered with an ordinary wrapper. He observed no hard and fast rules with regard to his food, for the Master had told him not to follow any such rules, saying, "Whatever you get through the grace of the Lord, live on that. For you there is no need of any injunction. It will not affect you." Ordinarily, he used to eat very little, and that at close of the day. He would musingly remark, "As long as there is body, the tax must be paid." In order to control the desire of tasty things, the cravings for the pleasure of the tongue, as he would say, he would not flavor his dishes with sugar or salt. It has been already mentioned that Nagmahashaya had let a portion of his house to one Kirtivash. The latter lived there with his family and used to deal in rice. Sometimes a lot of bran used to accumulate in his house. Nagmahashaya once thought that he should live on that bran. He argued within himself, "It is enough if I keep my body and soul together somehow. Where is the need for tasty dishes?" He ate the bran, mixing it with water only. He lived on that food for 2 days. But when Kirtivash came to know about it, he sold away the whole lot of bran, and from that day he never allowed any more of it to gather in his house. Nagmahashaya later remarked that he did not feel in any way uncomfortable by eating of bran. On the other hand, he felt more light and brisk. He further remarked, "If I am to think day and night of my food only, when am I to think of God, and when am I to do my devotional practices?" Constant thinking of the qualities of food produces a kind of mania in man.